This Eastern Conference Finals preview was originally filmed on our Heat Report channel, just starting out. So if you love the NBA or the Miami Heat, make sure you subscribe there. Now, I will say I am a diehard Miami Heat fan, so this Eastern Conference Finals preview will be coming from a Heat fan's lens. But hey, check out the video and make sure you stay around and subscribe. Welcome in to the inaugural edition of the Heat Report by Chat Sports. I am your host, Nic Rohloff. Diehard Miami Heat fan my entire life, so pumped to get this channel rolling. And in today's show, we start it no other way. Eastern Conference Finals preview against the Boston Celtics. Woo! Heat making a magical run here, beating Bucks in 5, Knicks in 6. Now it's time to go take care of business in Boston, advance to the finals for the second time in the Jimmy Butler era. And I have one reaction to this series starting, and it's, shit, here we go again. Third time in the last 4 years that we are matching up with the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. It just, the two duos, when you look around the league's landscape, you really think of Giannis, KD, LeBron, but in all realistic parts of the NBA right now, the two most dominant teams in the past 4 or 5 years are the Miami Heat and Boston Celtics, and I think there is no other perfect way to end this crazy NBA season than having the Heat and Celtics match up for a third time in 4 years in the Eastern Conference Finals for the right to go play in the finals against either the Nuggets or Lakers. I'm not going to pull out the bubble thing, but ironically enough, 2020, the bubble, it is the same conference finals on each side. Anyway, subscribe for Miami Heat playoff dubs. Listen, if you want to make the NBA Finals, you have to subscribe. And if you want more videos on the new channel, the Heat Report, I just want to get this thing rolling. Go to the moon, join the rocket ship. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, because the more you guys sub, the more we get videos out. And hey, Adam Silver told me, if you subscribe, we'll go to the NBA Finals. Now, I do want to start with this, a Tyler Herro injury update. And it's not looking good for our boy. He is not likely to return, at least in the Boston Celtics series, Eastern Conference Finals. There is a chance he can return in the NBA Finals, but I don't even think that is that likely at this point in time. If you need a refresher, he broke his middle finger and ring finger on his shooting hand, which is the key word there, shooting hand, in the Game 1 against the Bucks in the first round. Injury occurred on April 16th, to be exact. It's an approximately 4 to 6 week timetable to return. That's what Chris Haynes of Yahoo Sports tweeted out when the injury initially occurred. And if you look at the timeline right now, actually, I think it's today on the dot, it would be 4 weeks. So he at least probably has 2 weeks. And one thing I want to mention, he's not been cleared for contact or to even start shooting. So you have to keep this into perspective, because if he's not cleared to shoot, he's not going to come off right away and start playing hoops. It's going to take a 2 week probably ramp up for Tyler Herro. So for that fact, I don't really think he's even close to coming back. Maybe in the finals, but don't hold your breath. Now, I do think the Heat need his scoring. If you looked in the Bucks series, they skated by. Gabe Vincent was hot. Kevin Love was hot. Caleb Martin was hot. Jimmy Butler did his thing, and that's why they were able to get by the Milwaukee Bucks. But in the Knicks series, after the first 2 games, the Miami Heat offense really struggled, and Tyler Herro could fix that. In this season, he averaged 20 points per game, 5 rebounds, shot 43.9% from the field, and the key number all the way to the right here, shot 37.8% from 3. His three-point shooting would be key in this series, space the floor, let Jimmy and Bam cook inside. And when we preview in my 5 keys to victory, to win the series against Boston, you'll see why shooting matters. Now, on the flip side, Tyler Herro has not been the best playoff performer. In his career, 41 games, which is actually crazy to think about. This is his 4th season in the league, and he's already played 41 games, and it would be more if he didn't get hurt in that Game 1. 14 points, lower than his averages, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, nothing but the bottom portion of your screen. 41.8% from the field, 32.6% from 3. That's not great. Tyler Herro has been inefficient in the playoffs this far. It would be nice to have him. And I really feel for the guy, because if you remember after he got hurt, he even said, This really bums me out because I wanted to prove to people that I could perform in the playoffs. Everyone knows the playoffs is what really matters. I've performed in the regular season. I haven't done it in the postseason, and I wanted to show people. And that really bums me out, but listen, the Heat are going to have to find a way, and maybe they get Tyler back for the NBA Finals if they make it that far, but don't hold your breath. Now let's preview this series between the Heat and Celtics, and you see on your screen right now, the Heat are overwhelmingly the underdogs in this series, plus 425. They are plus 1,600 to win the NBA Finals. All other three teams are better odds than plus 300. So Vegas odd makers are saying the Heat's magical run is the 8 seed. Second 8 seed in NBA history to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Probably going to end here. But before we get into my 5 keys to victories, I want to know what you guys got to say. Who wins this series? Type H for the Heat, C for Celtics. I'll give my series prediction at the end of the video. Now, my first key to victory is Kevin Love must space the floor. That's why they brought him in here. Bam Adebayo at the 5, Kevin Love at the 4, so they can run that 4-out offense and let either Bam or Jimmy get inside. You've seen in this playoffs, Kevin Love has actually been good. But something I want to point out from Kevin Love's perspective, in the first round series against Milwaukee, he shot 13 of 30 from 3, which is 43%. He was outstanding against Milwaukee, and that's what really allowed Jimmy Butler to drive inside, get buckets on Drew Holiday and Giannis, telling him, you can't guard me. And when they send the doubles on the drive, he'd be able to kick it out and trust Kevin Love to knock down that shot. Now, against New York, he shot 7 of 29 from 3, 24%. He wasn't good, and that's what kind of led this Miami Heat offense to go stale down the stretch of this series, failing to put up 100 points multiple times. They won all 3 games in Miami, but all 3 ones were ugly and not good offensive explosions. So they're going to need Kevin Love to hit his threes in this series. My second key to victory, good Gabe Vincent returns. Now, Gabe Vincent either looks like prime Steph Curry or prime Brandon Knight. Like, there is no in-between for Gabe Vincent, and I just want to show you his stats against the New York Knicks. Look at games 1 and 2. 20 points and 21 points, 6 of 16 shooting, 7 of 17 shooting, 5 of 12 from 3, 4 of 12 from 3. Outstanding. He couldn't miss. It was unbelievable. Now you look at the last 4 games in that series, 5 points, 3 points, 6 points, 7 points. Look at the poor shooting from 3. 0 of 4, 1 for 5, 0 for 3, 1 for 5. Gabe Vincent needs to come back and perform in this series because without his ability to create buckets off the dribble and hit from beyond the arc, this offense really struggles, and you saw it in those last 4 games against the Knicks. Now, before I give you my next 3 keys to victory, what is your biggest key to victory? Either if you're a Celtics fan coming across this video, let me know what the Celtics need to do. If you're a Heat fan like me, let me know what they need to do. And if you agree with one of these 5 on my list, let me know, and you know ball. Next one, slow down Jason Tatum. Listen, Tatum absolutely underperformed in Game 6 against the Philadelphia 76ers, and then came out and balled in Game 7. He dropped 51 points. Every shot that went up, it looked like it was going in, and if it did go in, it didn't even hit the rim. And that 51 points in Game 7, NBA record. No player has ever shot or scored more points in a Game 7 before Jason Tatum, 51. They're going to need to slow him down, and that's why I expect Caleb Martin to be an X factor in this series. Off the bench, energizer, wing guy. They're going to need him to come in with confidence, get to the rim, hit shots, but most importantly, defend Tatum or Jaylen Brown at his best ability. And I think he could do it. He had all the confidence in the world guarding Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, and he was tasked with guarding Jalen Brunson a lot in that Knicks series. If Caleb Martin can defend and still bring that energy on the offensive end, the Heat will be in a good spot, and they're going to really need him. My next key to victory, you have to win the bench battle. And the Heat are the more deep team. If you look at the bench battle for these 2 teams, Kyle Lowry, Caleb Martin, Cody Zeller, and Duncan Robinson. The Heat and Eric Spoelstra are not scared to run 9-deep rotation, and you've seen them do it through the first 2 series of these playoffs. Now, on the Celtics side, you've got the 6th man of the year in Malcolm Brogdon, who is undoubtedly the best player off the bench in this series. You got Derek White, who has started most of this year, but they put in Robert Williams and Al Horford in that 2 big lineup in Game 6 and 7. I wonder if they stick with that lineup against Miami or if they go back to their traditional Derek White starting lineup. Grant Williams and Sam Hauser have not played, and they're not main bench pieces. Now, they could see some minutes in the series. Grant Williams killed the Heat last year in the Eastern Conference Finals, so I wonder if he'll get any minutes guarding Jimmy Butler, stretch the floor. But the Heat depth is where they have the advantage in this bench battle. Brogdon's the best bench player. I'm not going to kid you there. But when you combine Lowry, Duncan Robinson, Zeller, and Martin, I think the Heat have more depth pieces. Maybe if you can survive the Jimmy Butler non-minutes and roll with those bench guys and keep him rested, and hopefully he can survive his ankle, because I don't know if you saw the picture after Game 6 against the Knicks, but it's pretty swollen. The Heat have the advantage on the depth side of things. Let's see if they're able to take advantage of it in those non-Jimmy and Bam minutes. Now, my fifth and final key is an aggressive Bam Adebayo. He is incredible. He is such a good player when he looks for his shot. And this is a different basketball team when he's aggressive on offense. It is night and day when he looks for his jumper and when he's too passive. Against Milwaukee, he pissed me off to no end. He wasn't aggressive. He couldn't hit his shots. It looked like he was a mental head case. You look at his stats against Milwaukee, you look box score numbers, not bad. 17 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 46% from the field. But as a center, 46.3% from the field is not good. And I just feel like he really wasn't aggressive. Now, in that Game 5 elimination game on the road, he did drop a 20-point triple-double, so that kind of turned things around for him. But I need an aggressive Bam Adebayo. In attacking Al Horford and Robert Williams could be an absolute key in this series. Now look what he did against New York here. 18.7 points per game, 9.7 rebounds, assist numbers are down, but that field goal percentage is up, 52.9. He was unbelievable in that next series. He neutralized Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein on the boards, which is the main reason why the Knicks beat the Cavs in the first round. Bam Adebayo dominated the Knicks inside, and he was probably the reason why the Heat ended up winning the series. Not Jimmy Butler, but Bam played an incredible series. And this is what I want to say to Bam right now. Bam, play like the top 20 player you are. I've been pounding the table for the past couple of years. You're a top 20 player in this league. You're a top 3 center in this league. You're the best defensive player in this league. Now just show your offensive ability, because I know you have it. Don't be scared to take those 15-8-foot mid-range jump shots. Because when you hit them, then Al Horford and Robert Williams will come up, pump fake, drive by them. You're too athletic for them. Dunk it on their head. Bam, play like the player you need to be, and the Heat will be able to win this series. And that's why I think the Heat will win this series in 6. It is imperative that Miami steals one in Boston in games 1 or 2, protects home court, and that's all you got to do. They did it against New York. That's the recipe to success. Steal games 1 or 2, win all 3 games in Miami, and guess what? You're heading to the NBA Finals. That's it for today's video. Thank you for sticking around. We're hoping to keep this channel growing. This is the first ever video, so thanks for subscribing and tuning in to the end. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, and let's go to the the NBA Finals. Let's go Heat.